Welcome back, guys. This will be a guide for the extremely complex Scoundrel class. Not recommended for people who fold under pressure. This class requires quick decision-making skills in the heat of battle. This will be an advanced guide on every aspect of the Scoundrel, so in preparation for the long video, I have placed timestamps in the description below. I don't recommend skipping any portion of this video. I spent hours running the tests and the math, and pretty much anybody can learn something here. If you guys do learn anything and you want me to make more guides like this, please subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notified when my new videos come out. So let's get to what you guys came here for, the guide. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The Scoundrel is a DPS class type. You're going to focus mostly on putting out as much damage as possible. You are outloaded with a deck of cards and a revolver. Your revolver can fire more or less as fast as you pull the trigger, and it has an ammo bar here. As you can see, you get about 1 ammo every second. Now, you also have the ability to hold the trigger to charge up ammo. You can charge up to 3 shots, as shown by the chamber here. Spinning 3 times, it'll stop. Charging up 3 shots is definitely the way to go, because this allows you, when you get a critical hit, to crit 3 bullets at once. As you can see, 1 bullet versus 3 bullets. You're getting literally the same amount of damage as shooting 3 bullets, but all at once. So when you crit, compared to maybe critting 1 of your bullets in 3 shots, you can crit all 3 at once. Another thing to know about this is that if you charge at least 2 bullets and shoot your target, it will momentarily stun them. This is great for cutting off heals, power attacks, anything of that sort. I will say it's a little buggy. Sometimes it doesn't stun, and there's certain abilities it seems to not even stun people out of. So you also have the ability, as the Scoundrel, to curve bullets. What this means is if you swing your gun in any direction while holding the trigger and let go, it will curve the bullet. You can curve in any direction, and you can either move the gun laterally without tilting it to curve, and you can do the same by just turning the gun without moving it laterally. You'll also have a deck of cards. This will randomly choose an ability card. You throw them in the air, and your next shot will activate the card. This particular card will leave a damage over time effect. The super for this class will essentially turn on aimbot for a few seconds, allowing you to spray in whatever form of curve you want, and the bullets will always hit. Even if you're turned around, the bullet will travel straight to its target. So, I guess let's start off with the curving. There are a lot of ways to curve the bullet, and I'm going to show you probably the easiest. Like I said, it doesn't matter how you curve it. You can curve it any way. The problem is you want to be as far away as possible when you curve to get the biggest showing off bonus, and I'll explain what that is later. But to land these shots, I say the preferred method would be to hold the gun by your side, with your elbow touching your side here. And once you can learn how to hip fire straight ahead without hitting the ground or the sky, then you can shoot straight like this. What you're going to do is move your arm out to the right without tilting the gun. So this is going to be the motion. Right, you're going to start out here with the bullet held, and you're going to swing until your elbow hits your side, and you're going to let go when it does. This way you can always have the same speed, and you'll know what distance you need to be away once you try this out. So the really cool thing here is you can hit rank 1s pretty consecutively like this. But if you want to move back a little bit, as you'll notice, doing this is going to curve a little early. All you need to do is cock your gun a little bit to the right, maybe 15% or 15 degrees. So you're going to turn it outward a little bit, and you're going to make the same movement. You're just going to drag it over without turning the gun. So in this case, we're going to go the same speed and just slam it to our side, and we can hit nearly every shot once you figure out where to point the gun. Because you're always going to be curving at the same trajectory. All you need to know is which way to turn the gun. As you move farther away, simply turn the gun farther outward. This can work, I would say, up to rank 3. Past rank 3, obviously, it gets a little harder to hit the curves like this. If you want to go farther than rank 3, and I'm probably not the person to give advice on this because my aim is actually pretty bad. So doing this becomes a problem, because once you get so far out and you slam this against your side, you're going to see the bullets make a complete U-turn to the left. So this is where you're either going to start swinging your gun outward and letting bullets go. And I will say this is extremely inconsistent. It's very hard. Secondarily, point down the sights, turn your gun to the side, and as you're coming back, let go. I haven't actually done this in a long time, so I'm probably not going to land many of these, but you get the point. You're not going to actually move the gun around, you're just going to turn it. And once you practice this more, you'll figure out how smoothly you need to turn, how quickly you need to turn. But all in all, these rank 4 or 5s aren't going to be worth it. I would recommend just sticking with the 3, or you're going to be spending a long time just sitting here aiming. Showing Off. This is the debuff that you add to your enemy when you curve a bullet and hit them. This is going to cause them to take a bit more damage from your attack only. There are 5 ranks to this, and each one will move up as you get farther away from the target and curve the bullet more. As you can see, rank 1 gives a small increase. Rank 2 is going to make that increase even farther, so on and so forth. So by rank 5, you can be doing quite a bit of extra damage. The issue here is the farther away you get, the harder it is to attack your enemy with a curved bullet. So you usually want to start with a long range and then do some damage, and when the buff ends, you'll refresh it with a shorter range curved bullet. Now, the issue here is that every foot counts. So if you're right in front of them and you hit rank 1, you're going to do 1526. If I back up a little bit, still rank 1, I'm doing more damage. This is refreshing the buff every time I curve a bullet. Curve one bullet, do the damage, wait for the buff to end before you curve another one. Every foot counts. You're going to get extra damage, so if you're going to curve a bullet, back up first. This makes it really easy to just get that few extra percent of damage, and it makes a considerable difference. So there are 5 ranks. Rank 1 is roughly going to give you 5 to 16% bonus damage. Rank 2 is almost twice that, with 15 to 26% damage buff. This is a good medium range for you to try to hit. And once you hit a certain level, you'll actually get a perk that upgrades rank 1s to rank 2 automatically. So this won't be a big issue, and you might even be able to push for rank 3 if you get the curves right. So rank 3 is going to give you 27 to 34% extra damage. Rank 4 is 35 to 41%, and rank 5 is 47 to 53%. This is not an exact percentage result, but after about an hour or two of logging the damage results, this gives me an approximate range for each rank. So consistency is the key here. If you want to hit these high ranks, you need to figure out how to orient your gun at a longer range so you can consistently hit rank 3 shots. If you can't handle a rank 3 shot, it's okay to hit rank 2. Your class is still very, very powerful at this point. And you should be relying more on your cards and their effects than you should the Showing Off bonus. This is merely a bonus to all of the damage you do, so you should at least keep the buff on, regardless of what level. Your journal actually lists in the damage section, in the combat section, all of the cards and their abilities. Now the deck has 6 cards and will randomly give you a card when you pull one out. Each of these cards will be here in the book, and it will show exactly what they do, and I will go over every single card and their interaction after I explain how the deck is used. So there are 6 different cards, each has its own ability. Now on top of each card having their own ability, you can burn a card, which is to grab it to pull the trigger for the hand holding the card, and it will add an empowerment up top. There are 3 empowerment with 3 different colors. Light or flame cards, that would be these 2 right here, are going to make it to where any card that causes a debuff will essentially add a splash to it, so any nearby enemies will also get the debuff. Vines or ice, by burning either one of these cards, it will increase the potency of the damage card. This will actually add damage to any shot that you make with a card active by 15%. Excluding the flame card, it does only add 10% to the flame card's damage. Burning an ash or a flint card will add the shuffle effect, which places a copy of the card back in the deck after you use it. A good thing to remember here is that only 1 empowerment can be active at a time. If you try activating a second empowerment, the last card that you burn will take over the empowerment. You cannot stack 2 potencies or 2 shuffles. So, starting with the flame card, and I have to say all advice given here will reflect upon the highest DPS build possible. So this card right here is your bread and butter. This is more or less an instant crit card. It's going to add 50% damage to your next shot. Your next shot deals greatly increased damage. Now the cool thing about this is this card can also land as a critical hit. So shooting this will automatically give you lots of extra damage. Now you're going to want to prefer adding a potency that is vines and ice burning, increased potency of damage. Adding potency to this will give it a 10% damage boost, including the crit damage if it does crit. So you want to prefer potency. On the other hand, you can also burn the flint card, which will cause, I think it's a red aura, and it will cause the flame card to go back in the deck after you shoot and land your shot. If you already have a flame or ash card active, belt the flame card, keep it, and then you can shoot it. Well, let's say hold another card just in case, shoot it, burn the flint or the potency cards, grab this, and you immediately have another shot ready without having to wait. This is probably the best way to run this class, is to look for those flame cards. The next card we're going to talk about is going to be the ash card. This card will make your next shot have increased critical strike chance. This is your second most important card. It's just like the flame card, except it's not a guaranteed crit, and it maxes out at a 50% damage bonus. You're also going to want to prefer a potency buff to that, which is vines or ice once again. You're looking for blue and green cards to burn. You burn them as soon as you find them. Secondarily, you can also use the flint card and burn it for the chance to get another ash card, but you normally will want to do that with flame because flame is a guaranteed crit. Vines card. Your next shot deals damage over time to the target. This is going to deal 50% of one shot 8 times, so that makes about 4 shots. These ticks can crit and are unaffected individually by potency. You will still get your 15% initial shot damage, but they won't affect the ticks. This is going to work best with light and flame cards when you burn them, because it will spread the debuff to nearby enemies. Shooting an entire group with 1 bullet will set vines on all of them. I don't find this very useful, as you should be belting light and you should be activating flame. You want to prefer to burn this card for the potency, and that's about it. Secondarily, you can use it and set it off, but I definitely recommend adding the potency to flame because you're not only increasing your damage, but you're increasing the crit damage as well. The ice card. Your next shot slows the target. I find this more or less useless card. Activating this and shooting an enemy will slow them for a short period of time. It has no other real effect. You can add light or flame to spread that debuff as a splash attack. Still, slowing a group of enemies isn't too useful in this game, so I don't recommend it. I also recommend burning this card. I don't find really any use in not burning it. The only time I would say not to burn this card is if you already have the potency active. Belt it, save it for later. If you already have potency and a flame card and an ash or flame card on your belt and you pull a card for potency, just hold it. Hold on to it. Keep the other one on your belt. Keep your empowerment and your card up top. As soon as you shot, burn the empowerment, throw the flame card up. The flint card. Your next shot weakens the target defenses. This can be chosen to be used, especially in boss fights, to help your team. This will add a 5% damage increase from all sources. This is great for giving your whole team a buff. Otherwise, you should be burning this card to give the shuffle effect, which will place a copy of your flame or ash card back into the deck. This activates after the shot lands, so your first shot will be unaffected. It starts on the second shot. There's really no reason to put this up unless you're doing it before battle, and it is the only way to raise the damage of the flame card with potency and a crit. And last but not least, the light card. This card will heal you for the same amount of damage you have done to your target. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to want to belt this card almost every time. That way, as soon as you need the heals, you have them ready. You throw the card, you shoot, it'll refill the exact amount of damage that you do. You can also empower this card with potency to give a 15% increase to your damage, thus your healing. I don't recommend doing anything else with this card, for it will only spread the debuff to nearby enemies, adding that splash effect if you burn it. So let's talk about talents now. If we look here, our first choice is going to be between full chamber and slow burn. When firing a bullet from a fully loaded gun, your shot has a 10% additional chance to critically strike. I think this is personally the best choice for your first, because this means, especially with charging up your bullets, it'll make sure that the first shot in your chamber has a bigger chance to crit. And since we're always charging the bullets, we're always getting a 10% chance, because the ammo is always full when we fire. A slow burn, your card buff lasts for an additional 2 seconds. This just means that when you're using flint, ice, and vines, it will allow them to last longer, which is good for your team if you're using the flint card. But otherwise, you want to be picking this because you doing a critical hit is probably more important than 2 more seconds of a 5% buff. Level 2, you're going to have 2 choices here. The card deck now contains 7 cards, 2 of which are the card of flames. What this is going to mean, I'll explain that after I show you guys quick draw. So this is how fast your deck recharges when you throw a card. This starts after you belt it or activate it. So you're always waiting on a card. This will allow it to go a little more quickly, but as you can see, it's not a very noticeable change. I don't find this personally to be worth it. So I go ahead and choose Stack the Deck, and that's because this adds an extra free crit right here with this card of flames. So when you start pulling cards, you'll notice instead of a 6, your deck will now have 7 cards in it, and 2 of them will be flame, especially if you're using the flint card to shuffle these back into your deck. You could have up to 3 flame cards in your deck at once, which is actually pretty crazy. When you get later in the game, you'll also get to start burning the ash cards as well for 4 flame cards, which I believe is actually pretty dang crazy. So at level 3, your damage buff from level 3 and higher ranks of Showing Off is increased, while your damage from rank 2 and lower is decreased. I only recommend this from people who can consistently land level 4 and level 5 curve shots. For me, this is extremely difficult and not relatively helpful, especially when my team wants to move on and I'm still trying to land my curve shot. This is also going to lower the amount of effect that these close range attacks are going to have, which are what most of your long battles are going to consist of. So if you can hit these rank 3 and higher consistently, I recommend this, but easy mode it's easy mode. All rank 1 showing off shots are upgraded to rank 2 regardless of distance or curve. What this means is, when I'm standing point blank, curve a bullet, oh my, rank 2, immediately rank 2 percentages, and it works a lot better in the heat of battle when you need to just back up a little bit, and you get a rank 2 instead of a rank 1 every time, which is easy damage. At tier 4, you're going to get 1 basket. Your gun can now charge up to 4 bullets at a time. What this means is, not only is there an extra bullet at once, but that bullet has a chance to crit. It has the flame bonus if you use flame, and that also has a chance to crit. So it's just stacking 1 more bullet onto that free damage, and I love it personally. So break shot is your other choice, and shooting a 3-bullet charge shot will apply the break armor debuff, increasing damage from all sources by 5%. This is a free flint buff, pretty much, and you can stack this with flint, and what this will do is just make everyone else do, well, everyone including you, do more damage. It can be very helpful in boss fights because you're only shooting charged shots if you're using it the right way, which means every one of these shots is going to refresh a 5% damage debuff, which is actually pretty huge for your team. If you're playing solo, I do recommend picking 1 basket, because that extra shot with the chance to crit is going to be a lot bigger deal. In your last tier, you should know by now, at level 30, how well you survive as a Scoundrel. And if you're like me and you enjoy glass cannon build, which means basically high damage, low health, you're going to want to pick True Gambler. Your critical hits add a buff that increases your crit chance by 10% and also make you take 10% more damage per stack. It stacks up to 5 times. This means every crit you hit increases the chance of the next shot being a crit. So once you stack it 5 times, on top of the 10% buff up here from your fully loaded gun, you're going to have a 60% extra chance to crit, which is huge. You should be critting almost every shot at this point. The problem here is you will take extra damage. If you're playing solo, this will hurt you a lot. In a team where you're in the back, this is going to be pretty easy to handle because you're not going to be taking the damage anyway. If you want to play it safe and you want that guaranteed win, then you're going to pick guaranteed win. Every 6th shot is a guaranteed crit. You fire your first shot, fire 4 more, you know this 6th shot's going to crit. You can set up your flame, your empowerment, you can have flint set up on the 5th shot, and you can immediately know that this one's going to crit. This is the one. Shoot it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get ready for the 6th one. This is going to be extremely easy. It's going to take away from full chamber a little bit. You could switch to slow burn if you wanted to after this. But I recommend True Gambler. If you want that straight up damage, this is the way to go. But if you feel that you die a little easier than you should be, just stick with guaranteed win. Alright, so it's about time we go ahead and go out in the field with this. What do you say? Okay guys, now I'm ready to show you how to handle the under pressure choices you're going to have to make when drawing your cards in battle. I'm not going to be curving bullets in this portion of the video, just to make it a little simpler on how you should be using the cards, because they are much more important than showing off. So right off the bat, I can tell you, you're going to want to burn the green card, the blue card, and the gray card. You're going to want to activate the red cards, and you're going to belt the light card. So when you grab a card, it's red, throw it up. Right? The only exception to this is if you already have a red card, then belt it. Okay? So you pull a gray card, burn it. We prefer potency on the red cards. So if you get a flint card, it's okay, because it's going to bring flame back into the deck, which is great. So before we even start battle, we have a flame card with Flint. The shuffle. We find another red card, we belt it, and we're almost ready to start the fight here. Oh, this is perfect. So what we have here is a buffed flame card. The next card we want to use, and the buff that we want for that card, the empowerment. So straight off into battle, you charge your first shot, fire, burn your potency, throw your card, shoot again. Well, if I could hit them. Okay? You keep drawing cards. You want to be shooting and reaching for these cards at the same time every time they show up. If it's red, throw it up. If it's green or blue, burn it. Blue. Even if there's not a card up there, you can set a potency buff up to wait for your next card. If you already have a potency, belt the next one. Now you already know that if you draw a red card, you throw it up, you've got potency ready, you can fire. You can grab this, burn it for the next red card, and fire again. Full charge. Grab another card. It's gray. Burn it. Once they get low enough health, that's when you start spamming, because otherwise you're just sitting there waiting for your gun to charge. So it's kind of pointless. I prefer potency over shuffle, so I'm going to overwrite the shuffle with a potency. I can either jump right into battle now. I already have a potency buff. I'm going to belt this one. Throw the red ones up. And the whole time here, I know the timing on 3 bullet charges, so I'm just making sure that I'm always shooting when my third charge is ready. If you need health, throw the light card. Fire a shot, your health will go back up. This is how you're going to do every fight. Charging shots, grabbing cards as soon as they're ready. And you guys can handle this. Trust me, it's not as hard as it looks. And once you get better at it, you can start moving and dodging bullets so you don't die in the middle of battle. So throw the red cards up, burn the green, blue, and gray ones, and belt the light card. It's a pretty simple workout, and if you want to get more into it, you can start by a fully charged shot and curving the bullet. And then you can set up your next card, and this will give you even more damage with the Showing Off bonus. And that's pretty much it, guys. The more you play this and the more you play like this, you're just going to know. Red, green, blue, light. Already have a potency, belt the next potency. You're going to line up cards. You want to keep this recharge going 100% of the time until you get a card with potency, a card on your belt, and a card in your hand. If you get a card like this that you can't really use yet, you don't want to overwrite it on your belt, just hold on to it. Once you shoot this shot, it'll leave room up there, so you can throw it up, give it a potency boost, and use it. No harm done. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys enjoyed any of this, please leave a like. It really helps me out. I'm going to start working on the next class immediately, and I'll be releasing some other VR experiences along the way.
Here we have the script for the guide, and this will have pretty much everything that I've talked about here down to the T. So if you guys need a reference quickly to get back and see what you should be doing, everything you need is going to be right here, and as long as I can figure it out, there should be a link to this in the description below.
Right now,
There's some marshmallows.
Yeah. Stand up.
Nom nom.
Thank you. So how long do we have to wait for the
Damn,
next
bro.
event?
I'm tired, man.
happy,
Same.
dude.
I just want my battleground.
Yo, give us some fireworks, bro.
Elk is the master magician here. He knows how to do them fireworks. Hell yeah!
That's anticlimactic.
They take too long to blow up.
Fire.
Perfect. Alright, I guess I should probably get to freaking recording then, if this is the case. It's nice meeting you all. Hopefully I'll see you in the battlegrounds one day.
I'm tired. Ugh.